I'm very sick. Not very sick, but my voice in particular is very gone. This is how I sound at the moment. It sucks because it just always feels like I have something in the back of my throat, but I figured this would be an opportunity. I should make the most of this because my sick voice also just happens to be a deep and sexy voice. Do I sound like Markiplier? Hello, my name's Zesty and welcome. So what better way to make use of this deep, sexy voice than to tell you guys about the first time I peed myself in public. Now let's get some facts straight first. I have not peed myself in many a year. I'm a well-trained good boy. I'm a well-oiled machine. I have not peed myself. I have not wet the bed in years. With that said, this was not the case while I was growing up. As a young lad, I frequently wet the bed. It was so bad that my parents got me this like under sheets, waterproof, water resistant pad thing that I had to put under my sheets on top of the mattress so that I wouldn't ruin the mattress with how much I pissed the bed. And this was the case probably up until, I want to say kindergarten, first grade. So I wasn't too old when I stopped wetting the bed, but I was older than most parents would like. But I was typically good enough at holding my piss in during the day that I had never peed myself in public. Now, this is the earliest memory I have of peeing myself. It was back in kindergarten. Little 5-year-old me was going to kindergarten class, per usual, getting amazing, incredible grades, per usual. And one spring day, little did I know, fate had in store something for me that I did not expect. Little side note before I continue, I have a terrible habit of holding my pee in when I really just shouldn't. I'll be trying to get something done, or the worst is at night when I wake up in the middle of the night to pee, and I'll have to go pretty bad, but I'll just be like, no, I don't want to get up. I'll just hold it in. Now, I haven't peed the bed in a very, very long time, but I will say I have come dangerously close on a couple of occasions just with my sheer will to hold my piss in when I should just get up and go to the bathroom. Clearly, since my days in kindergarten, I have not learned to break this habit. And this is exactly what the case was on this fateful day. I was just going through my kindergarten day routine, and at one point, I started to need to tinkle a little bit. Just a little bit. It wasn't much. It was just, starting to get a tad bit uncomfortable, but I didn't want to interrupt class by raising my hand and asking to go to the bathroom. I simply decided that I would hold it in because there would probably be a more opportune time later in the day. In fact, I believe the school day was almost over anyway, so I probably figured that after class I could just hit the bathroom right before getting on the bus to go home. A simple enough plan. And we were in class anyway, so I figured if I really couldn't hold it until the end, I could simply ask my teacher to go to the bathroom. Not a big deal. Or so I thought. It just so happened that very school day, we happened to finish all of the... my voice cracked a little bit. We finished all of the material my teacher had planned for the day. And so out of the goodness of her heart, she decided to give us an extra recess. Normally, for any kindergartner, this would be a godsend. Every little child dreams of the day where instead of doing classwork, their teacher just takes them outside to play on the playground. Now, all of the other kids in the class were excited. They were elated because they didn't have to pee. Well, really, I was actually pretty excited too. So excited to the point where I thought that I probably shouldn't interrupt this momentous occasion by asking the teacher to go to the bathroom. Now, at this point, I still didn't need to go bad. It was still just a little bit of discomfort, more than before, but I figured that I could still hold it in. And so our kindergarten teacher took the class outside to play on the playground. And that's when it hit me. It probably went from a 10 to a 100 instantaneously as soon as we stepped outside. My need to pee was horrific, but I was still going to hold it in. I was not about to ruin this occasion for my classmates with my bladder. I wasn't even going to ruin it for me. I think I was still having enough fun where I didn't want to go inside. This was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I was going to squander it by spending it in the bathroom? No, I was going to play. But little did I know at the time that this was a fatal error on my part, because while going on the monkey bars, that's when it happened. My bladder was so filled to the brink with piss at this point that the sheer force of gravity acting upon me from hanging on the monkey bars must have pulled the pee out of me. Luckily, I wasn't necessarily playing with any of the other kids at this point. I was going on the monkey bars on my own volition, so I don't think anyone had noticed that I had peed myself yet. But my alarm sirens were going off. The adrenaline was running through my system. I had to do something about this. I was not about to be known as the kindergartner who peed his pants on the day we had an extra recess. Even though more embarrassing things had happened up until this point. In the middle of class, I remember there was one kid who had the most massive throw up pile ever, just during the middle of class. Out of nowhere, this kid threw up, and I swear, we had like actual tables. It wasn't just like these small little desks. We had long tables that were all connected, and I remember the layout of the class. We would have 3 of these tables in a row to make one extra long table, and we had a few of those in the classroom so that everyone had a place to sit. And I swear, this kid threw up so much that he covered his entire row of 3 tables with his puke. I still remember that to this day. Anyway, the point of that little side quest was that other embarrassing things had happened to other children. It would not have been a big deal if I had simply come clean and told my teacher that I peed myself so that at the very least I could go inside and, I don't know, wash the stench of piss off of my pants. Actually, my parents had foreseen this with how much of a bed pisser I had been and sent me to school with an extra pair of pants to keep in my locker just in case I peed myself. I would actually go on to use that extra pair of pants later in the school year, but on this particular day, I decided not to since I was already soaked. It was the end of the school day. I ought to just save that pair of pants for another day when I could potentially put it to better use, which I would. But with that in mind, I was not about to go out like a pisser. I was going to hide it. So my master plan at this point that my 5-year-old brain had concocted was I was going to stand off to the side of the playground, far enough away from the other children for them not to notice, and I was going to... I know the camera angle doesn't show this very well, but the idea was that I was going to bend over like this, and using my arms the best I could, I was going to cover the pee mark on my pants using my arms. And just like that, I was going to spend the last 10 minutes of the school day during our extra recess pretending to be hunched over and exhausted, very far away from everyone else, and using my arms to cover the most surface area on my pants as I possibly could. Luckily, I think this plan actually did fool my classmates. I don't think they were really paying attention to me. There was no reason to pay attention to some random kid who was clearly just exhausted catching his breath off to the side. But though it may have fooled my classmates, it did not fool my teacher. My teacher finally called everyone to go inside so that they could grab their things and either get picked up by their parents or get on their bus to go home. And my teacher motioned me to walk with her because she had noticed that I had clearly pissed myself. So, of course, she asked me what was going on and what happened, and I still stuck to my guns and asserted that, I was just exhausted and catching my breath. But eventually, I did come clean and explain that, yeah, okay, I pissed myself. And she was very nice about it. She reassured me, oh, it happens. And she told me that if I ever needed to go in the future, I could just ask and someone would take me to the bathroom. Simple as that. We went inside. I grabbed my things and I shamefully got on my bus and sat soaked in my pee for the next 20 minutes while we rode home. Anyway, that's the story of the first time I peed myself in front of other people. I suppose the moral of the story is, don't wait. If you need to ask someone, ask someone to go to the bathroom. Or if you just have the opportunity to go to the bathroom and you need to go, just take the opportunity. Don't wait, because your teacher, your boss might take you to a playground and it'll be too late. As always, I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.